Today is our last day exploring Hoosier National Forest along the Ohio River. But before we get into today's video, we want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed and watches our videos. Over the weekend, we crossed the 500 subscriber mark, which is something we couldn't have imagined when we started this channel. So we just wanted to take a minute to let you know how much we appreciate your support. We will continue to work on improving the quality of our videos, and we hope you continue watching. Continuing our drive through Hoosier, we came across a couple more unplanned sites. So it is the gate into the former home of Indiana State Governor Edgar Whitcomb. It's right on the Ohio River. That this is where he came after he retired to write and work on, other projects, relax, things like that. If I remember the story right, he donated it in his will to the state. But it looked really cool in there that they're turning it into like a retreat type area, like maybe for group camps or group retreat type things. So there's like several houses in there and it looks really cool. Then as we were checking out the little town of Tobinsport, we saw another interesting sign. Tobinsport, a camper community. I mean, the whole area is Tobinsport, but it's just interesting that right down here, just all these campers probably come for the summer.
Somebody put up a bunch of RV plugs and compacted the area.
Stop here and let me read what this says. Private campground, members only. There aren't many Ohio River ferries still in operation. You may remember we rode one across the Ohio at Cave and Rock a few weeks ago. The Lincoln family moved from their farm in Kentucky when Abe Lincoln was 7 years old because there was some dispute over property rights or farm ownership. They moved to a log cabin in Spencer County, Indiana. The only thing that remains of that cabin is a foundation, but there is a homestead site there, Lincoln's Boyhood home, that you can visit. We thought it was really interesting that this totally unassuming, unremarkable little site here is reportedly where the family crossed the river on a ferry when they moved here to Indiana. As we continued along the Ohio River towards Cannelton, we were surprised by how many little lots we came across right alongside the Ohio River. As you can see, some of them have houses or small cabins, but the vast majority of them have RVs sitting on them. So little lots right along the river. We don't know whether these are lots where people leave RVs year-round. It looks like some of them probably are. Or whether maybe these are people that travel to warmer climates in the winter and then come back up here to Indiana where it's a little cooler, especially along the river here for the summer. But we were surprised by the sheer number of lots right along the Ohio with RVs sitting on them. We were driving along this road looking for something specific, which it turns out we would not be able to see, but we would find some other interesting things. Wow, what a scenic driveway you've got there. My goodness. We are coming up on Lafayette Springs here on the right, which is the site where the steamer named the Mechanic broke down, run aground. It was carrying General Lafayette on a farewell tour of the United States, and he was forced to stay here at this spring overnight until another ferry came the next morning. Lafayette Spring, this is the Girl Scout camp. So keep going though, the road is up ahead here. All of the property behind the spring is a Girl Scout camp, and this is what we were actually looking for.
Camp entrance.
Yeah, so we'll see if it's probably gated off, but yeah, I'm thinking it's this right here. Yep. No trespassing. Well, why do you got a moon tree in there and you can't come in and see it? We were trying to see one of the Apollo 14 moon trees, which we had just learned about. So these are seeds that were taken into space on the Apollo 14 mission and then were brought back to Earth and were planted all over the United States. There's actually several in Indiana. There's Army Corps of Engineers. What's this? What's this?
Box.
Looks. Well, that would be interesting to see a barge go through the locks, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, we didn't have time to sit and wait for a barge to come along. But I think that would be really interesting to see how the barges go through the locks. Turn on that Eagle Bluffs. Maybe we'll get a really good view down.
This here?
Mm-hmm. Anywhere. Listen. $18.51 Indiana cotton mill. Oh, that's interesting. Shank Trail, Eagle Scout project. Eagles Bluff Park. I think this is the most beautiful restroom building we have ever seen. So that's all that's in here. There were places for lots of pamphlets and flyers, but those were all empty. Beautiful view from the building, though, and great place to get out of the weather. I like the gate. I like the gate up here. What's on the other side of the gate? Ooh, it's gonna be breezy up here. Well, oh, it doesn't go very far. You can just walk around.
Well, I thought that's what you meant.
No, I didn't even see that there wasn't a fence. Where eagles soar. Says eagles are often sighted near this area. They're working to restore bald eagle populations in the state. One of the most active commodities traveling through the locks is coal. The oldest Indiana elementary school still in operation is Myers Grade School on Taylor Street in Cannleton, which was born in 1868 which began in 1868 as a free school. I don't know about a teacher known as Daddy Myers. Was that a thing, like they called teachers Daddy in the 1800s? Says it was renamed, so that isn't what it was always. It was originally free school. And then it was renamed for a principal known as Daddy Myers. Am I in your way?
Yep. I mean, you're in my picture.
Oh. Did you get my double chin in profile?
No, it doesn't pick up that short.
Yeah. That's not an eagle.
I know how to soar.
But it's doing a good job. It's doing a really good job. Look at that. Yeah, I wonder what that is on the other side over there. It did have a smell when we drove past.
It's some kind of mining or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what it could be? It could be wood pulp.
Oh.
A lot of that shit was
Energy production.
What?
Energy production. Wood pulp.
Could be. I mean, there's a big power line going there.
Okay. It's cold up here. This little park was an unexpected find, but definitely worth checking out just for the view alone. See what's here. Rickenbaugh House. Oh, this is where Rickenbaugh House is. This is like a historic house. I talked about it in one of the other videos. The Rickenbaugh House is one of the few remaining intact historical buildings or structures in Hoosier National Forest. Rickenbaugh Cemetery. Oh, that's drivable, huh? Yeah, does look like it on here too. Maybe when we come back out. Oh, well, there it is right there. We don't need to go see the cemetery. It's okay. There's the house. Pulling in their boat.
No parking down here with love.
Jacob Rickenbaugh moved here in 1854 with his new bride, Elizabeth, and they bought 320 acres. The land came with a small log cabin that sat where the parking lot for the boat ramp is today. When that house became too small, they built the current house that you see here. One of the things that's really interesting about this house is it's built from sandstone blocks that were carved from the cliffs behind the house. All of the materials used to build the house were sourced locally. So the cabin was home to them and their 8 children, and it was built in the Greek revival style in the shape of a T. So there are kind of 2 front parlor areas, each with a fireplace, and then a kitchen, like the leg of the T is the kitchen behind the parlors. And there is a huge oven in the very back of the house. The house also served as the Salina post office from 1880 until 1951. 4 generations of Rickenbaughs lived in this house. This is the huge wood-fired oven on the back of the house here. The house is open for tours at certain times of the year when there is staff here on site. I think one of the other interesting things about this house is that it had been abandoned. So when the last descendant moved away from the house, they closed it up and left it, and it was basically abandoned. So it was, of course, soon vandalized and began to deteriorate. When the Forest Service bought this land in order to build the lake, to create the lake by damming the river, a group got together to save the house. So Friends of Salina House was created. And over many decades, they have worked to raise funds and to restore the house. Okay. Wonder why there's 2 front doors. Wonder why there's 2 doors. There's a fireplace on each side, probably to like heat and. To wrap up the day, we headed through another large section of Hoosier National Forest. You're never really that far from civilization anywhere in Hoosier National Forest, but this area did feel really remote and isolated. This is the area we were driving through here, and we were headed to Jasper for dinner. A little bit more remote, so this is a pretty big chunk of national forest without a developed campground for like Forest Service campground area. Back by the creek again. Oh, what do we got here? See anything interesting? I didn't need that much curbside service, babe.
Sure you do.
somebody has driven down through there. It looked like probably an ATV based on the wheel width. Which way we're going here in this spaghetti? We are going to go that way. Okay, so then the National Forest ends right up here. You'll turn left. Jasper is about a 30-minute drive from where we came out of the National Forest near the town of Riceville. There are a lot of turkeys down here.
See the Tom run across the road. Come on, girls.
Patoka Lake Regional Water District. That's not a water tower, that's a water tube.
Up.
Catholic Church. Oh. Schnitzelbank is an independent, family-owned German restaurant. They've been in business since 1961 when they bought a tavern, and then the current building replaced the tavern in 1971. We ordered the sampler platter for two, which was a lot of food, but it was delicious. Thank you so much for joining us as we explored the southern part of Hoosier National Forest. We've just returned from a new adventure in Wisconsin with some very special guests, and we'll be bringing you those videos soon. Keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next video.